Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Welcome back. My name is Jeremy. This is another episode of what? This is not part of a series. But we've been doing AMAs with our project collaborators in the VDAO Discord server. And so I am streaming this to twitch.tv/vfriends. You're watching this playback on YouTube. Thank you so much. Today, we're going to talk to Nebenzu, who is the creator of the Drops project. You'll remember the Drops as the third PLP pre-launch program project that partnered, a lot of P's, with the P Friends, the V Friends project. And we're going to catch up with him, hear about his journey into the NFT space, what led to the creation of the character The Drops, and furthermore, see what's coming next. So let's go ahead. I am going to kick off this stage and we'll get started. Ba-boom. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started with this AMA with Nebenzu shortly here. Thank you for being here. And I'd just like to welcome you. I see Doodle Zinger with a great Drops PFP. That's nice to see. I'm sure Nebenzu will be here soon. In the meantime, I will let you know, if you haven't seen already, that on Christmas Day, we're going to be doing a very exciting puzzle-driven giveaway of a ticket to VCon. And it was important to us that we created something that required a bit of effort. The only requirement to participate is holding at least one VDAO token. And if you go to the event channel, which is titled VCon Giveaway, you'll see the PDF game helper. And that is a sample, sort of like a Rosetta Stone, to how the puzzle will be played. And you will, I don't want to give too much away, but completing that puzzle will set you up for success. The first person across the finish line, the proverbial finish line, will be holding a new ticket to VCon, and they can do with that what they will. So more on that to come. I'm going to bring Nebenzu up here, and we will dive right in. Hey, CJ. Hey, Sven. Good to see you.
Hey, what's up?
Just having a good time. Hey, Nebenzu, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah. So let's get into it. I want to hear sort of your origin story. Like, what brought you in? Was your entrance into crypto through NFTs? Were you already into crypto, and what brought you there? Sort of catch us up before the Drops releases, and where does the Drop character actually emerge in your life?
I mean, that's a lot of questions at once.
Oh, sure.
You're actually no worries. You're actually the first person who pronounced Nebenzu like correctly. I think it's super difficult for American people to pronounce it.
Oh.
As it is a German word. But it comes from a time a bit earlier than me starting with NFTs, and I just kept it. And I think it's a good starting point. So I got into crypto indeed via NFTs around, I don't know, in January, February, something like that.
Okay.
I think I need to go a bit back.
Yeah, take us there.
Really understand for people to really understand my story. I started with graffiti pretty early, in the age of, I don't know, 13, and I did a lot of stuff there until I was, I don't know, 18. Painted a lot, and then moved over into graphic design. Worked at some bigger companies, then founded my own company. Did a lot of work for huge clients. lot of branding, a lot of digital stuff, and then um, I somehow got bored and got back into digital drawing, which was like maybe 1.5 years ago, and I started to draw again on my iPad. Started an Instagram page, and then I started to share my process and how I do things and how I do my illustrations, and um, that worked pretty well. And I was able and lucky to build a great network over there. And then I met a lot of people, I met a lot of artists, and then I somehow saw all of this NFT business and thought it's a great place for artists
Yeah.
to finally really monetize and build communities in a much simpler way than it has been before. And that's a bit the way I got into NFT. So I started an Instagram, started to do digital drawings again, and then started to um, look a lot what is happening, write my first artworks on Foundation, try to see how all of this works. And that was my main starting point.
Amazing. And was the character, the drop, something that you created during the graffiti stage, or was it an invention of this year? Okay, great.
No, it was actually an invention of this year. I started the drops project. I started in the NFT space, and it was working okay. But I saw how hard it actually is to get into it, to meet the right people, and it's getting harder and harder. To really find the right people, to also find collectors who buys your work, who are digging what you're doing. And I then started the first collection, and it started pretty slow. And I mean, the drops character was a bit of like it's coming from a water drop and a bit from that a drop in the ocean. Like trying to change that, trying to not be the drop in the ocean, but stand out in a way, and that's where the character comes from. So the drop is based on a water drop, and of course also the term to drop an artwork,
right.
And then this drop in an ocean is also what I actually do with the artist series, and really try to onboard new artists and make it a bit easier for them to make their first steps into the space or finding new collectors, and getting into an artist community, which is actually great and is helping each other, giving tips on a much more private level than you would have it on Twitter or anywhere else.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about the artist series a little more and sort of the story, the developing story of the drop, because I can imagine, it as you bring new artists in and you partnered with dozens for your artist series. How did that affect where you imagined the drop could develop, and like what was it like seeing your character sort of transform in the eyes of other artists, and how has that changed maybe the trajectory of the project, or has it?
I mean, to see all of the artists doing a drop is amazing. A lot of people already have done a drop, which I actually admired before from that Instagram time back. Like There are a lot of huge and great artists. I really liked, and I really liked their work before, and it was super amazing. So that they said yes, I want to do. Let me see how it will work out. Let me chat with the other artists, and um, I think that the best thing that actually happened, aside from all of these cool artworks and seeing what is possible using that one character I created, really is the artist network. I think we have like over 50 artists who already did a drop, and um, seeing how they also start to talk to each other, start to help each other, is really amazing. And I think it doesn't really change how I see the project or what I think for the project in the future. But I really love to work with all of these people. These are super great people, super amazing people, super talented people.
Yeah.
And I just love to bring them together.
Yeah, I remember when the project was announced as a PLP. I mean, it was super exciting day in the market, but one of the first things that like really stood out to me from the previews was this was a project where there literally is something for everyone. Um, as far as like creative aesthetic preference goes, like I'm just sort of
So,
scrolling through the artist series, um, and the variety is amazing. I think
yeah,
it's a huge
absolutely. I mean,
strength.
there are 3D artists, there are 2D artists, there are digital painters. We even have Larissa, who is actually using real clay to
Oh,
create her
nice.
work, which is also pretty amazing. So yeah, absolutely. Totally different techniques, totally different tools that has been used to create all of these. I see that's also super amazing.
And where do you see that going in the future? You know, I see some of these artist series. You know, I'm like, there's an entire comic book that it can be inspired by just the details of a single one. I don't know if that if what kind of storytelling devices are you developing now or looking forward to in the future?
Yeah, we're actually working on several things. One big thing which is actually in the making is like physical drops.
Hmm.
Having physical printed drops that will also be used by some artists to create physical artworks together with their NFTs. That's one step. Um, and we're also looking into various other topics, but I can't talk actually too much about them. But I think
Sure.
as far as um, utility comes into play for all of the collectors, one super interesting thing is like a lot of these artists starting to creating their own series, starting to create first artwork. And getting them out on the NFT market. And what we always try is actually to give something back to the drops collectors, even via whitelist or free mints or even some special artworks which only could be acquired by them. Mm, which is also a super interesting field because it's not only a platform for the artist to enter the space, but it's also a super nice platform for collectors to actually find new people. And these are all super amazing artists. And I think at least 20, 30, 40% of them will get big in the future. So
Yeah.
it's a cool way to discover new artists at a pretty early stage, follow their process, and then getting some specials out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Something we were discussing yesterday with the Flower Girls team is how important, especially as more corporate entities enter the space, which, you know, comes with its own pros and cons, how important it is for the upstart projects to share resources, collaborate, like you're creating with among the artist community that you have. Um,
Oh.
I wonder, there are probably some folks in the audience who aren't aware of the 3 tiers of tokens that you have in the collection. Can you just break that down for us? Like what is the, because I know you have the drops collection, you also have the artist series, and
Yeah, sure.
and could you just tell us about that?
Sure. So for the drop, there are basically 3 different series. The first one is the original series, which was um, created back in June, I think, by me, and it's basically a hand drawn series, which I did to get that project started. Then after that, there is the multiple series, which is kind of an elaborated version of the original series. So the original series is a 2D series. The multiple series is a 3D series with added 2D drawings and animated drawings over it. And then there is the artist series, um, which is basically the collaboration series where I include all of the artists. And I I actually did it to have some variation and also have some different steps for people to enter the drops. So there is like some special utility to each one of them, which will also be getting bigger in the next year. But for example, if you own one of the multiple series, we are always uh, for the artist series we are doing an auction every 2 weeks. So that's the only series which is still ongoing in minting process.
Mm.
And if you own one of the multiple series, you're actually taking part in a raffle each 2 weeks, and we're giving away 3 artist series token to multiple series holders.
Oh wow.
Um,
That's a big deal.
yeah,
For people who don't know, there are only 65 or 66 um, multiples tokens, and so I
true, but
mean,
they're coming in like it's like an uh so each artwork is available like it differs in the numbers, but between 6 to 14 times,
uh-huh.
something like that. So they're always there. There are like 65 artworks in the multiple series, but there are multiple owners for each artwork.
I
I
see.
think the owner count is around 600 or something like that.
I
But that's
see.
also something that differs us from the other PLP project. So we didn't have that huge numbers to mint,
Right.
and it's still the same. So the artist series and the original series is around 450 tokens. The multiple series is around 600, and then the artist series will be capped at 500 tokens in the end.
Very cool. Um, and amazing that you're continuing that mint and bringing in new artists. Um, Speaking of the artist series, I'd love to talk about the piece that you did for our collection, the blueberries drop.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Number one, thank you. I haven't had the chance to personally thank you. We really love it, and
Yeah.
I know there are many collectors in the community who specifically are seeking it out. I'm not sure what to ask. How was it making this? Like, or even why did you make it for us?
Mhm. I actually saw your project, and I actually like the way how you set things up. And then I had some chats with Cohen, and also wrote to Wecon, and I think I really liked what you told me, what you're going to do, and what your roadmap is, and I always enjoy doing collaborations. I mean, it's implied within the artist series. And as you said before, I think with all of these bigger companies entering the NFT space, there should be some network between all of the serious smaller projects to help each other to even to build that network up. And I think that's why I did it. And I actually I really enjoy um, doing these drops. It's when you work for clients so long and you're getting annoyed by them. It really is somehow like meditation to work on that stuff.
Like therapeutic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. I have a question from the audience, and for anybody who has questions, there's a voice channel text right above the main stage. So if you have stuff, please, I'm keeping an eye there. You can drop your comments or questions there. Freefly would like to hear more about the selection process for the PLPs. What was it like? I guess let me break this down into maybe one or two questions. Did you have any relationship with Gary or the VFriends team beforehand? Did you just sort of submit the form and cross your fingers? And after you were selected, what was that process like?
Hey, Freefly. Nice to meet you here, by the way. So I actually was following Gary for a longer time. I really like what he did. And then at some early point, he started to following the Drop Twitter account, even before they announced like all of the PLP stuff. And I think that brought me even closer to him. And then they opened up that verification or
the application,
the process where you could enter all of your details and get eventually selected. And I did that, and after that, I also came into contact with Andy Kranek, CEO of VFriends, and we chatted a bit about the project. And I think like 2 or 3 weeks later, they told me, "Hey, what do you think? Should we do it?" And then the process was like, I don't know how much I can tell you about it. It was like 2 months. Had a lot of calls with them, how to set everything up properly, and then it just went through. I mean, for me, it was amazing. It was amazing to actually get the support by them. It was a bit of a cure and a blessing, but I can talk about it a bit later. But really understood that Gary liked the artwork. We also did a special artist series drop for him, which he then bought. Was really amazing. And I think what he did with the PLP is great, helping new artists. Also that new series he does on Twitter is amazing. I think pushing new artists is always a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to hear more about what you said, the sort of like the blessing and the curse of the PLP. It's something I've heard from PLP projects, and also, projects that are just supported by Gary, as people tend to maybe misconstrue why Gary is supporting a project, and that brings a variety of different segments of the community into the project. What was that like for you, and how? What was it like for you, just going through that process?
I think the bit of the problem we had is that we're a bit different than the other PLPs that happened before, and we're not that 10K project, which had been out on the market at this point, and people somehow expected to beat the project a bit different, or not, didn't even got what the drops is at the first place, because the people who came over from reference are a bit different than the community we had before. Before the announcement was like a lot of I don't know how to tell it, like serious art collectors. They were not so much focusing on the actual value or trying to flip the token quickly. But that was what happened. A lot of people, I think if Gary announces something, a lot of people quickly came over trying to buy and trying to flip it quickly. But that's absolutely not how we have set up the project.
Yeah.
We really thinking it out first, looking at it in a long term view, and I mean, it's super amazing how many people came over, how many eyes got on the project, how many like all of it. It wasn't. It is still amazing.
Yes.
But also having to deal with these other people wasn't too easy for me, I think. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, I empathize with that. You know, we see a pattern from the projects that Gary supports, and it's a huge influx of people who tend to act before asking questions and necessarily knowing what they're getting into, and sometimes be very emotional about leaving the project. And you know, I don't think that's a reflection of Gary, but it is certainly a reflection of influence or power, and the kinds of people who have come into the space over the last 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's where we actually seeing the space evolving right now. I mean, as more media attention there is, the more people coming in for not really for the art, trying to find value, which is totally fine, and it's, I think, great for the space itself. It's just hard for artists.
Let's speak to that a little more. Oh, go ahead, CJ.
No, I was saying it's true. You see a lot in this space that a lot of people are coming in not to be actual art collectors or aficionados, and people are coming into this space to be able to just grab it, try to make a couple of bucks, and move on to the next project. And that could actually hurt a project in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's also, I mean, I've spoken to so many people about it, and it's also funny when you see a lot of the discords and all of the people coming in and asking, where's the utility, where's the roadmap, how you're handling things. They are not, and I say it's like 80%, they're not really interested in actually having utility or seeing a roadmap that works. It's more about seeing the value behind it. So they're not mainly interested in the real utility behind it. They're more trying to find a value point to be able to sell it for a higher price in the future, which is, of course, the way to go.
Yeah, they're using the roadmap as an appraisal tool.
Yeah, correct. So,
yeah, I mean, it's certainly a balance, right? Because the flippers isn't a bad word. You know, those people drive a lot of attention. They drive secondary royalties. But especially as someone who's shepherding new artists into the space, beyond just informing them that like this is a large percentage of the population right now. How do you as an artist deal with like you said, it's hard to find real collectors. Like what do you do to nurture the collectors you have, or even convert people who are maybe there for the flip and show them the value of supporting emerging artists?
So when I started the artist series, I actually I also did this in auctions, so not like a buy now price, and always trying to do it in smaller batches, like not like having, hey, here are 5,000, please mint them, which actually already attracts the right people, I think. Also, these auctions are happening on Rarible, which is a bit of a different platform compared to OpenSea or compared to your own Mint website, because
right.
I think it's the right space for actually having quite high quality auctions. And I mean, what I always did, and the actual collected list of the artist series is not that big, as there are only 200 tokens for now, is giving them value back. Like we had several airdrops in the past. We always try to doing some raffles for free mints or airdrops from other projects, and giving them value on that way. And to add to this, I totally agree that I don't want to say that flippers are bad people and not good for the market. They absolutely are. But when you look at the market, I think there are two, or even more, but two different categories. The one is really like the art people, people, Xcopy, fuck render, and all of these people. And then there are that big collections, and the target group from both of them are totally different. So the first one, and like the Boys project from Leona, they're really looking for people trying to find long-term value, and there actually is no utility behind the tokens. It's just the pure artwork that speaks for itself. And then there are these huge collections, and I think there are too many getting pushed on the market right now, so it's pretty hard for people to see where the real value is. And it's a total different target group. And for the Drops project, I think we are somewhere in between, which is not too easy for us to communicate. Like the artist series totally focusing on art, and the other two series are more like to getting people into the project, and then getting value for all of these series and so on. It's not so easy, but we are getting there, and we're working on several cool things which are going to be released in 2022.
Yeah, I really appreciated what Fuck Render did with that Fuck Render Crystals drop, and sort of distinguishing, like you said, that his pieces that are art stand alone. They don't require utility to have value, and that these pieces, that art in and of itself is intrinsically valuable, and that if you're looking for utility, here's a separate set in the Fuck Render Crystals that provides you the utility, and that's what he shared. Yeah, that's a super interesting balance that you just pointed out. Very cool. I want to go ahead.
I have a question next.
Yes, Sven.
So how do you select artists for the artist series?
Um, so basically, it's my own network. People there that have been with me before all of that NFT stuff, and that is based mainly on my Instagram network. I was able to build before all of this, so there are a lot of great artists, and to most of them I reached out first, and then after the first two auctions, people started to write me and say, hey, um, can I join? I think it's a great project, and so it started to getting more and more people. And after the POP, I mean, there was like an insane amount of people reaching out and wanting to do a drop. But there are mainly two things I'm looking at. If to decide if I want someone to join. The first thing is, of course, quality of their past artworks. What have they done? Could I personally imagine that this particular person could do a drop that could look dope? And then, of course, if that's reached, I'm starting to reach out to people or starting to talk to people, and then trying to figure out if they are fitting the actual artist community who is there already. And that's kind of the way. And then recently, I actually really like to involve the community. So we had an drop your own competition in the Drops Discord recently, where all of the people could create a drop, and we had like, I don't know, 80 entries, and there were so amazing pieces. I actually didn't expect this to happen. So out of these submissions, I think there at least will be 2 or 3 persons who we will see on doing a drop in the future. So
Are
it's
the
based on
rumors?
my own network. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
I heard rumors that you and Sven are going to be making your own personal drop together since you guys are in Germany together. I heard rumors. Are these rumors true?
I don't know, Sven. What would you say?
I would love to make a collaboration with the Drops again. So
yeah, let's work something out. I think that's a good idea.
yeah.
All right, guys. Rumors confirmed right here.
Okay. Cool down. I'd like to kind of speculate about the future. I know that like I can only imagine what kind of volume of messages you were getting in the hype of the PLP and everything else, but without being too concerned about the money, where do you see the opportunity for artists in the coming years? You know, because we've seen NFTs be powerful tools for connecting and community building, and you know the Discord game has changed significantly, but for artists, I've seen time and again that they have the artistic skill but not the like managerial skill that comes with like managing a project, and you know I think there are still a lot of modalities for a drop that have yet to be discovered. What's some things you're looking forward to as the technology develops?
I mean, it's hard to say. I think looking at the overall market, I think there are too many projects actually being pushed out recently, especially large collections, and looking at them from an artist perspective. Also, the artist community always says like, "Wow, it's much more about marketing and not so much about the artwork anymore right now.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, it will change again. I think with the overflow of these projects, people will come back to more like that boutique series. I don't know if it's the right word, but smaller series with a really high quality behind it, and not that quickly generated projects, which we see quite a few recently. So I think that is actually one thing that might help. Also, new artists to enter the space again, and to at least get a foot in the door. And I think if you are able to produce great art, the community will come, um, even without being that super marketing people. And I think it's much more honest, um, than what most of the projects are doing right now.
Yeah.
So it's super hard to predict, but I think it's a way I see it happening in the future.
Maybe this is kind of the same question, but and maybe we've covered it already. But like, what are you looking forward to in terms of like what do you want more of out of collectors? Is there, I feel like we often like talk about providing value, right? And especially for those who are in leadership positions in projects, whether you're the manager or the artist or community manager, you always want to sort of take care of your collectors as if they're customers to a degree, as if they're there's a lot of customer service that sort of is involved in launching a project. I wonder, is there anything like flipping the script that you would like to see more from collectors? Like, how should collectors support artists in any ways that they're not right now?
I mean, it's difficult to say because everyone comes from a different background.
Sure.
But when we look back into, I don't know, February, March this year, people were more looking on the quality side of the artwork than on everything what is happening around it. And I think there were some great people who came out of it, which actually didn't have to do that much of marketing stuff because they're just great artists and doing great stuff and trying to support new people, new artists getting into the market, even if they don't have a huge following yet, even if they don't have huge Discord numbers yet, even if they just had a few sales. I think it's helping and it's pushing them out a lot, and I think it's also a good way to find new artists who might have a great value in the future. And not, I mean, when I buy stuff, I'm not looking into how could the floor potentially increase within a month. I'm looking at it, okay, how could that particular artist or project could evolve in 5 years, or what could happen. Hello?
Sorry, I don't know where Jeremy went on there.
Oh, sorry.
Sven, you
Sorry,
have any?
I muted my mic because there were some car horns in the back. I didn't realize nobody could hear me. I asked this question from Blue Jean Mama, which is, does it bother you to see people wanting to flip? You kind of addressed this, but is it kind of?
Nah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it bothers me. I think these people are also important for the space, as you said before.
Yeah.
They absolutely have a reason to be here, and why not? I mean, they are also helping projects, and helping increase full value and stuff like that, which then brings in new collectors and even collectors for looking at it long term. So it doesn't really bother me that there are flippers. Not at all.
Let's change it up a little bit, Nebenzu. I'm interested in this graffiti past of yours, and graffiti, as I'm sure you know better than I do, like has such a culture and a history, and it's often counterculture, which I think has a lot of similarities with NFTs, right? Because we live in a centralized world. We're creating the decentralized Web3. What can people in Web3 right now learn from the graffiti culture?
I actually don't know what they can learn from it, but you're absolutely right comparing these two. Looking back at the time I did graffiti, one of the most important things I'm looking back, it's also the community. Like having specific groups of friends who you can really trust, who you are connected to. And I think it was actually a different level because you're going through um, an,
Oh, I'm losing you a bit. Did anybody else lose Nebenzu?
Yeah, I can't hear him.
Oh, shoot.
People really getting friendships out of it. People trying to help each other, and to see this is really amazing. And also, looking at our drops artist community, we had cases where um, one of the artists did her first drop, and um, she got scammed after I sent her um, her royalties out of it, and all of the people helped together, getting her back that money. It wasn't much, but it's like a young girl living in Thailand, and it was a lot
Wow.
of money for her.
Yeah.
And to see such stories and to witness such stories, it's just amazing. I think that's one of the best things of the NFT communities, and I think we totally should try to keep it, even if we grow and even if more and more corporate people will onboard that space.
Wow. Yeah, that's powerful. That I don't know if have you ever seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life, the Christmas movie about George Bailey?
I'm so bad at movies. Might have seen it, but
It's okay. It's like a classic American film, and I just watched it for the first time last night, and so it just popped into my head because spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it, but this is kind of like the end of the movie, like the main character who is a pillar in the community finds himself in financial trouble, and everybody comes together, puts in the bits that they have, and make sure that they don't lose their house and home, go to jail for losing this money. Maybe not as great of a comparison if you don't know the movie, but I'm sure some people in the audience do. And whether it's financial or otherwise, I think it's a point well taken that that I don't know, community is underestimated even today. Like it's certainly become a sort of unquantifiable aspect of a project's success. And it's probably still underestimated because ultimately, like, people are the most innovative and valuable thing that ever, that there ever was. People and their imagination and artists and otherwise have created every wonderful thing there is in this world, except for nature itself.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, to add or to wrap up, like what we did with the artist series, with a short story, and that one girl I mentioned before, is an artist too. She's called Beery Tune, and she actually hadn't heard about NFTs before I have spoken to her, and then she did her first artist series drop, and then got addicted in a way, I think, and then she started her own series like 3 weeks later, and she's also doing like small batches, like 10 artworks a time, and but she managed to sell all of these pretty quickly, and then she added another series, and then one day she was shooting me a message, "Hey, you helped me so much, and I was finally able to buy me a new computer, which I was looking for
Wow.
like a few years to actually buy now." And for someone living in Thailand, I think it's a lot of money. She actually made out of that stuff she really loves doing, because she always did these artworks on Instagram, and then she found a way to actually get it out to the people, and saw how people are valuing her work, and then it transformed into real life and was actually helping her. And I think that's one of the best stories I actually had, with the drops community for now.
Amazing. I love that. I see some people asking. So yes, there is a POAP
Sure.
for today's. Yes, CJ. Oh, who is?
No, I meant sure for the
Oh, yeah.
for the people asking.
Yeah. So I have just opened the POAP channel, and you can go in there for the next 10 minutes and drop your wallet address for all of these AMAs we've been doing. The with Sven, Flower Girls, today with the drops. We're going to do all of those POAPs at the same time. So you don't, just want to clarify for people, you haven't missed the claim window for those POAPs. We're just using this channel function to ensure that only the people who are here to participate get the POAP. So I've just posted it in the voice channels text. It should appear on your screen just below the voice channels text. I see many people are figuring it out. I only see like a dozen wallets, but I see 60 people in the room. So I'll leave that open for the next 10 minutes.
Can I ask Nebenzu a question? I mean, historically, we've been making POAPs for most of the people. Would you like to be part of making the POAP for your own AMA, or would you like us to take care of it? I don't know if that's something that's up your alley or not.
I would love to do this.
Great.
And for all the people in the chat, we will actually also do a pop tomorrow for Xmas, which is claimable from the drops Discord.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
That's some alpha nobody knows about yet. Just you know it now. So I'm gladly helping. I'm creating this.
Awesome. So I guess you'll be in touch, Jeremy. You'll be in touch with him for that, right?
Yeah, that's perfect. I love it when a little alpha leaks. So if you didn't hear that, you can get into the drops Discord. I mean, you should go there just to participate. Actually, our friend Olo, I don't know how to say your name. Oloidi. Okay. Our friend here.
It's Ollie.
Ollie, thank you. just wanted everybody to know that with the artist series, if you own one of those pieces, you actually have access to all the artists. And they wanted to ask you, Nebenzu, do you have a favorite in the artist series? And would you share which one you like the most and why?
So to add to Ollie's comment, that's true. So if you buy an artist series drop, we have a special channel in the Discord where all of the drops artists are and all of the artist series collectors are. So cool place to connect with the artists and where they also share some of their projects and what they're working on. For a favorite, it is really hard to say. I think there are a few. There is the drag and drop, which is really amazing. And I don't know if he's still in the call. He has been in the call. Like, oh yeah, Doc Whiskey. He's in the call and having it as a profile picture. I think that's one of the most elaborated 3D drops, and it's actually done from Organic, who is a friend of mine for like, I don't know, I've studied with him 20 years ago, so 25 years ago. So I know him a really long time, and I really love what he did there because it's so elaborated and even has some small gimmicks. So each of the artist series drops usually comes with some unlockable content, which is possible and wearable, where you have a different view of the character to download. and he added some Easter eggs on it over there, and I really like that one. But there are so many good ones, and so many good ones from actually people I think are so great and amazing artists, and also like having a huge following on Instagram, but have never been have not been seen before in the NFT space.
Yeah, for sure. Someone specifically wants to know about Jason Naylor. He's created.
Jason.
Yeah, would you mind? What they asked is where they could find more information about Jason. I imagine going into the Drops Discord is one way. Do you know where else they can learn about Jason?
Yeah, Jason is amazing. He's living in New York, and he's all about kindness. So all of his work is somehow incorporating kindness or helping people, making people happy. He's huge on Instagram, and he also has a Twitter account. He recently launched some amazing projects on his own, like the token of kindness, which is actually a token you can buy, and then afterwards you can share it with a friend. So it's basically a single edition when you buy it, but you can make it like two owners by sending it to a friend afterwards. And I think like 50% of the proceeds will be donated to kindness.org. I think some kindness organization. So he's a super cool dude. To learn more about him in the Drops Discord, there is a specific channel called Follow the Artists, and I think his credentials should be in there, pretty much on the top, because he was one of the first people I collaborated with. He was in the first series, actually.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to leave us with? We're sort of at the end of our time. I think this has been super insightful. I love kind of the deep dive on the bright side and the dark side of being an artist in the space today. Anything you want to leave us with, or besides joining the Discord, how can we support you?
Or any secrets or alpha you'd like to share with us of future drops, or something we could.
CJ always wants the secrets to be revealed.
Not all the time.
Yeah, I think that physical drops will be really cool. They will drop sometime in Q1 2022. Then there will be the next artist series, which will be pretty soon. The next auction for the artist series. We actually had some problems with Wearable recently because they had some problems on their end when we couldn't start the auction, but it's finally resolved today. So that will happen pretty soon. And other than that, I just wanted to thank you for inviting me to this. I think what you're doing is great. I love to follow your project. Just keep being awesome as you are, and thanks a lot for having me. And excuse
thank
my
you.
English in some parts. I'm not a native speaker, so it's not always that easy.
Oh, you did fine. Your English is 500 times better than my German, so don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's.
and the people here have to struggle with my English too, so
we're
they
used
can
to
take
it.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much for having me. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for me
Thank
too. One last chance if you want to get the PO app that Nebenzu is going to create for this event. Watch out for the announcements on when to claim that, and announcements for our next AMAs. Also for token holders, we've discussed 2 potential votes today, both on the Gary B on the market and the right click giveaway. So we are going to post a vote for the Gracious Grasshopper Go, which is an auction in which all the proceeds go to charity. I'm just giving you a little bit of the description that's in the vote, just determining when that vote should end. And we do have an option for which people requested for just not participating, to not bid, but it seems a lot of people want to bid on this Go. At current price, it's certainly a steal. We'll see how high the auction goes. But just FYI, keep an eye out for that. The vote will be open for, I think, 6 to 12 hours. We're working on that right now. That's just an
And
FYI.
there are also 2 drops in the right click give auction. Everyone is looking there. We also
amazing.
donated 2 of them.
Amazing.
2 from the artist series and 1 from the original series. I think that's also an amazing project. The people who are running it are super great.
Yeah, agreed. And links to the drops Discord are in the voice channel text, along with some links for Jason, who we talked about here at the end. Yeah, I really recommend joining that Discord, especially for those who really have the, I don't know, passion of a collector. It's a great aggregate of people who are creating in the space and developing their craft and learning the space. So a lot of gems in that artist series and among the community there. Fantastic. Thank you once again, Nebenzu, and I know it's getting late there as well, so I appreciate that. And
No worries.
And we'll hope to see you again soon.
Same. Thanks so much for having me.
Awesome.
Have a great day, everyone.
If anybody wants to continue the conversation, we have an open audio lounge just below the stage if you want to chat. Otherwise, head over to the Friends Lounge, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. And that's the show. Good stuff. Nice to see everybody. Thank you, Roman Punks, for rating the stream. I'm sorry that I was paying attention to the Discord chat, not you, but I really appreciate it. 5 folks in the house. I don't know if you're in the VDAO Discord server. If you're not, please do join. There's a lot of action happening there. Giveaways, announcements, on and on and on. I did just do a live stream on my Instagram on NFT taxes and taking a strategic loss before the end of the year, which you may be interested in. I'm going to do one here on Twitch as well, but the information is already on my Instagram at wannabea VFriend. Nothing is really time sensitive in the VFriend space except for the book checker. If you haven't, if you're expecting tokens for your 12.5 book purchases, go to the book checker and make sure your tokens are to the right quantity. You won't, you will get your tokens regardless of if you do the book checker, but the only way to confirm you're getting the right amount is to do the book checker. If it's not, fill out the troubleshoot form, give the team a week to get back to you, and that would be good. So that's the spiel. Appreciate everybody hanging around. My name is Jeremy. I'm the Heart Trooper number 7.